Hello students, how are you doing today? I believe you are doing fine. I'd like to welcome you to today's class. We are continuing our lesson on positive and negative numbers from our previous lesson. Today we're going to look at how we can add our positive numbers and the same way how we can subtract our positive and that of our negative numbers. There are specific rules when it comes to addition and subtraction of negative and positive numbers. So I'd like to take you through the rules for these particular operations before we go to the examples that we have on our board, okay? Okay, so the first rule is that whenever you have a positive and a positive number coming together, it means that you are likely to have a positive answer because both signs are positive, so it will give you a positive answer. The same way, if you have a negative and a positive coming together, the positive sign here is much stronger than that of the positive sign. So when these two signs comes together, it tends to be negative, okay? But over here, the indication is that whichever sign carries the bigger number will give you the result of that sign. Okay, if you don't understand, let me explain. Assuming your negative sign carries the bigger number, it means your answer is going to be a negative answer. However, if your positive is carrying the bigger number, it means that your answer is going to be a positive number. But the rule is that when negative and positive come together, the sign that takes the row is your negative sign. So whenever you see a negative and positive coming together, it means that the negative will kind of overshadow that of your positive sign, and the sign that you have to concentrate on will be your negative sign. This is the reverse form of this rule because we have the positive here and we have the negative here as compared to the second rule. So negative and positive are coming together again, and then negative will play the major role over here. Whenever negative and negative comes together, it changes to become positive, okay? So when they come on the same row, it changes to become positive. So basically these are the four rules that we're going to use when we are doing addition and subtraction of positive and negative numbers. Now let's go to our examples and see how they work in real terms, okay? Now we have 6 and 3. 6, the sign here is positive, and then the sign here for 3 is also positive. So it's two positives coming together. So that will give us a positive answer over here. So our answer is going to be 9. So we put our 9 here nicely, okay? Okay, so now we have a negative 7 plus 2. So we have negative here and then we have positive here. So let's look at our sign here. So the rule says negative and positive, we have negative here. So this negative and positive, it means that this negative sign is taking a bigger role over here. So what happens? It means that you are owing 7 and then you have 2 to pay that of your debt. So you still have debts more to pay. So your answer is going to be negative 5 because this is positive. And like I said, over here, the sign with a bigger number is more likely to give you that answer. So the sign negative here carries the larger number. So that means your answer is going to be negative. If positive was to be carrying the bigger number, it means that our answer would have been a positive, okay? So that is the relation between these two signs. So always watch out for which one is carrying the big number, and then you know how to go about it. Okay, now let's see our next example. We have positive 4 plus negative 8. Your 4 is positive and then your 8 is also negative. So if these two signs are coming together here, minus will carry the point here, so it becomes minus here. So now positive is going out of this one, so which means that you still have debt to pay. So we have negative 4. Because 4 into this one will still remain a depth of 4 for you. You have minus and minus 4. So minus 6 minus 4. This is minus, which means you are owing. And then this is also another minus, which is also means you are owing. So two owings coming together will give you a total owing. So this will give you minus 10. It means you are owing and then you go to borrow. So which means you are still owing. So it gives you minus 10. Okay. The last one, which is the most interesting part that you have to pay more attention to. We have two of the minuses coming together here. And then there's another minus here. Because these are coming together, we'll have to apply this rule. Okay? So this and this are coming together. So they have to change to be positive. So we'll have a positive sign here. Right? So now these signs change to be positive, but it doesn't affect this one. So this one still stands as positive. So which means that we are still owing 10 points, and then we have 6 points to pay that of our owing 10 points. So which means that we'll still have 4 points that we have to be paying for. So almost all our answers are negative because the negative signs are carrying the bigger numbers here. So it gives us a negative answers. In the other way around, if our positive numbers were to be the ones carrying the large numbers, it would have given us positive answers. Okay? But most important is how to apply the rules. When negative and positive comes together, which one do you have to use? If negative and negative are coming together, how do you change it? Okay, so you change your negative and negative becomes positive, but it doesn't affect this one. See the difference between this one and that of this very one. Here the negative stands at different points, but here they come together. This does not change to be positive because the negative is at the opposite positions of the numbers, so it cannot change to be positive. It stands to be negative, so your answer becomes still negative. But over here, because they are meeting at the same point, it changes to be positive, and this does not affect this operation, and this still keeps to the negative sign. So this change to positive, and this will still remain as negative. Okay, so once you take note of this one, it's very easy for you to always do your subtraction and your addition of positive numbers. We'll move to our taxed one. With a taxed one, we will look at how we can compare negative and positive numbers, because sometimes it's very confusing when you see the negative sign with a particular number and you still feel like it has its actual value. So example, we are going to use less than, greater than, or equal signs to determine which numbers are bigger or smaller, or they are of equal value. Okay, so now we have negative 87 and then 64. The 64 is positive, but 84 is negative. So we are coming to compare these two numbers with the signs above there. Once your 87 carries a negative sign, it means it is a debt, and a debt means that you don't have it. You have to pay. So the 64 here, once it is positive, is bigger than that of your 87, which carries a negative sign. So we have to use the less than sign, indicating that 87 is less than that of 64. I hope it's clear. The same way, if we look at 12, which is a positive number, and that of 38, which is a negative number, it tells you that your 12 is bigger than that of 38, because this is debt. It is not an actual value, it is a debt which needs to be paid. So we have to put our greater than sign there, meaning that our 12 is bigger than that of minus 38. I hope you have enjoyed this session, and then I'll post the 4 tax questions for you to do, and I'll see you in our second video. Goodbye. Hello students, welcome to our second video. Our lesson is on positive and negative numbers. Today we are looking at specific rules to deal with addition and that of subtraction of positive and negative numbers. In our first video, I demonstrated to you how we can use the rules that we have here to solve that of real-time equation problems, okay? And I believe that you had it well and you've understood, and you can always apply the rules correctly to your math operations, right? Okay, once that is good, and you also have studied how you can compare your positive and that of your negative numbers using the less than, greater than, or equal to sign, we will then move straight away to how we can do more adding and subtracting of positive and negative numbers. So this is your task 2. You'll be doing adding and subtracting of positive and negative numbers, which I'm going to send the 4 questions to you through your Telegram for you to find answers to. I'd like to thank you for joining this session. I'll see you in our 3rd and final video. Goodbye. Hello students, welcome to our final video on this session. The topic is positive and negative numbers from our previous lesson, Unit 8. Today we dealt with the 4 main rules that we can use to do subtraction and addition of positive numbers, okay? And I'll like to take you through the rules again and how we can use them in operations so that you always keep them in mind, okay? Normally, when we have a positive number, we don't write the sign plus by the side of the number. We just keep it as it is, okay? So any number that stands alone without the minus sign means the number is a positive number, okay? So whenever we are adding a positive and that of a positive number together, we will get a positive answer. So 6 plus 3 will give us 9, which is a positive number. When you have a negative and a positive coming together, your negative sign plays a major role, okay? So your negative and positive will give you a negative here. The difference here is that when your positive sign carries the larger number, when the bigger number in the equation is positive and the smaller number is negative, it can change the rules and make your answer positive because your positive number is the larger number. But it still remains the fact that your negative is playing a role here, whereby you are taking the positive out of the negative or vice versa, okay? So the second and the third rule are kind of interchangeably, which means that sometimes the positive is on the right or it's on the left, and it plays the same function over there. The most important one is the final rule. That is a bit technical that you have to pay much attention to. When you have 2 negative signs coming together on the same spot, it changes to become positive, okay? When 2 negative signs like this comes together on the same spot, it changes to become positive. So instead of thinking of minusing, you think about adding, and then you look at the other side of your equation. So this is minus 10 plus 6, okay? But because the 10 still carries the minus, we cannot get 16, but rather we have to subtract the 6 from that of the minus 10, and that is going to give us a negative answer because 10 is bigger than 6 and 10 is the one that is carrying the negative sign. So our answer is going to be minus 4 instead of a positive 4, okay? Okay, now let's look at our homework. We have dealt with 2 major aspects of our positive and negative numbers, which is about adding and subtracting and that of comparing. So your homework will cover all these areas that we've done on this lesson. You have questions that will ask you to compare certain group of numbers, and then you do your addition and subtraction of your positive and negative numbers. I would like to thank you for joining this session, and I hope to see you again same time next week. Goodbye.